Welcome back, football fans. Today we uncover a force so lethal, so precise, that the Premier League's giants may never see it coming. Two players, one connection, and a partnership that could rewrite history in the city of Manchester. The question isn't if they'll dominate, but who, if anyone, can stop them. It started quietly, almost unnoticed. On crowded training grounds, under glaring floodlights that painted the grass with harsh shadows, whispers of talent drifted like smoke through the Etihad corridors. Every touch, every pass, every glance between them hinted at something bigger, a synergy that even seasoned analysts struggled to explain. There was a rhythm in the chaos, subtle yet undeniable, the kind that doesn't make headlines but demands attention from those who watch closely. In those fleeting moments, you could sense it. Two individuals, each exceptional on their own, beginning to weave something far greater than the sum of their parts. By the time the world caught on, the storm was already forming, a tempest of precision, instinct, and relentless energy, and no one could predict the chaos it would unleash across the Premier League. Stay with us as we dive into the untold story of the Manchester City duo that's on the brink of shutting down the Premier League, one breathtaking player at a time, one invisible connection at a time, building a legend that will endure long after the final whistle echoes through the stadiums. Every movement, every instinctive exchange, every subtle nod hinted at the birth of a partnership that would challenge what football fans thought possible. Long before the roar of the Etihad, before the dazzling spotlight and the millions of eyes trained on them, they were just two boys chasing a ball across muddy pitches, narrow streets, and empty neighborhood fields where the boundaries were chalk lines and imagination. No scouts, no hype, just raw talent, determination, and countless mornings where the cold bit harder than any opponent ever could. One emerged from the academy, overlooked and underestimated by critics who didn't see past his unassuming frame. The other, forged in local leagues, was repeatedly told he was too slight, too fragile, too ordinary to ever make it to the top. Yet neither allowed those voices to define them. Every rejection became fuel, every doubt a spark for improvement, but ordinary would never describe their connection. Even in those early days, they moved in tandem, reading each other as if connected by an invisible thread, one instinctively interpreting the other's thoughts, the other anticipating every flick, feint, and run. Coaches noticed flashes of brilliance, moments that could not be explained by talent alone, but few understood the full potential hidden beneath youthful exuberance and scrappy tackles. Many dismissed it as temporary chemistry, a fleeting alignment of chance. Yet beneath the casual smiles, under dirt-streaked jerseys and relentless sprints, a partnership was quietly forming. A bond that would soon shake England's top flight, leaving even seasoned defenders questioning their instincts and positioning. Every setback, every doubt, every whispered not good enough fueled a silent promise. They would prove the skeptics wrong. Each morning spent training in freezing drizzle, each evening replaying mistakes in private, forged not only skill, but character, resilience, and a shared determination that would come to define their careers. While the world saw two young players, only a select few sensed the storm they were quietly assembling together. And even then, no one realized the magnitude of what was about to unfold, the force that would soon compel the Premier League to sit up and take notice, forever altering the narrative of teamwork, vision, and instinct in modern football. It wasn't immediate. Not every promising player finds a perfect complement in the chaos of professional football. But on a crisp Manchester morning, their paths converged. Training drills became duets, endless passes evolved into choreography, and a shared hunger to leave their mark transformed ordinary routines into exercises in brilliance. One would curl the ball with a precision that seemed almost mathematical. The other instinctively sprinted into the seam, timing his movement with the subtle rhythm of a metronome. It was poetry in motion, raw and unrefined, unseen by most, but unmistakable to those who looked closely. The first spark ignited during an unremarkable friendly match. The stadium was half empty, the crowd indifferent, yet every observer who watched felt the subtle electricity. A flick of the ball, a sprint into open space, a perfectly timed through ball. No words, just instinct. The two started reading each other's movements like chapters of the same book. Coaches noticed a rhythm, faint yet mesmerizing, an almost telepathic connection that refused to be explained with diagrams or statistics. It wasn't just talent, it was understanding, a language forged in hours of repetition, sweat, and silent competition, the kind of unspoken communication that defines legends. The whispers grew louder, analysts began to hint at it, fans caught glimpses on shaky broadcast footage, and the coaching staff began to wonder, could this partnership, if nurtured, become something unstoppable? But even in those early sparks, no one realized the true force they were quietly assembling, the kind that could, one day, dominate the Premier League with an almost unnatural synchronization of thought, movement, and vision. Then came that day, one ordinary Premier League match that would etch their names into memory, a game where fate intervened and opportunity met preparation in perfect harmony. The stadium buzzed with anticipation, rivals were confident, pundits dismissed them as promising but unproven. Yet from the first whistle, something shifted. Every pass, every run, every glance between them seemed to carry invisible gravity. The crowd didn't yet know it, the opponents didn't yet feel it, but those first moments on the pitch whispered a warning. A new storm had arrived, and it was about to reshape the league. A perfectly timed pass split the defense, a movement so precise it seemed preordained, as if the universe itself had choreographed that moment. The first goal wasn't just scored, it was orchestrated, a silent, almost poetic statement that these two were more than the sum of their parts. Fans erupted in euphoria. Commentators stumbled over their words, and the opposing players froze, wide-eyed and stunned, unable to comprehend the fluid perfection before them. That single sequence became more than a goal. It became a declaration. The duo was no longer just promising talent. They were a force, one that demanded recognition and respect in equal measure. From that day onward, momentum carried them like an unstoppable tide. Every training session grew sharper, every touch more deliberate, every decision refined by countless hours of observation, repetition, and instinct. Their reputation spread like wildfire, not only among devoted fans hungry for brilliance, but across the entire Premier League. Teams began formulating defensive strategies specifically to counter their influence. Analysts scrambled to dissect the chemistry that seemed impossible to quantify. And yet, the magic, the invisible thread connecting them, refused to be broken. Each match became a stage where their symbiosis could be admired, analyzed, but never entirely anticipated. There was an almost tactile rhythm to their play, a subtle language in glances and movements that only they could understand, a communication built over sweat, grit, and an unspoken trust. But as the headlines lauded their brilliance, few realized the storm quietly brewing behind the scenes, the challenges, pressures, and obstacles lying in wait to test the limits of this extraordinary partnership. No journey to greatness is ever without resistance. Just as their brilliance began to shine for the world to see, the doubters grew louder. Critics dissected every pass, magnified every misstep on social media, and broadcast each minor error as if to remind the world that hype could be fleeting. Injuries struck unpredictably, a twisted ankle here, a hamstring strain there, reminders that even stars are vulnerable, that raw talent alone cannot shield one from the fragility of the human body. There were nights of restless sleep, evenings spent staring at ceilings, replaying moments in their mind and questioning choices, yet through it all, a stubborn flame of perseverance refused to dim. Off the pitch, the weight of expectation mounted with relentless pressure. Headlines questioned focus, pundits debated consistency, and rivals exploited any perceived weakness. Every decision carried scrutiny. Every minor slip threatened to overshadow months of brilliance. The duo faced a critical moment of reckoning: crumble under the intensity of scrutiny, or rise stronger, sharper, and more resolute than ever before. Each training session became a test of resilience, each game a battle not only against formidable opponents, but against doubt, distraction, and the ever-present threat of disappointment. The external noise became a crucible in which their character was tempered, revealing layers of determination, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to each other. Yet amid the turbulence, something remarkable unfolded. Instead of fracturing under pressure, their partnership deepened. They learned to anticipate not only each other's movements, but also the relentless pressures surrounding them, transforming obstacles into lessons, critiques into fuel. Every setback became an opportunity, every whispered doubt a spark to ignite determination. And as they evolved, the Premier League began to awaken, realizing that a seismic shift in football dominance was quietly underway, one that would soon leave teams scrambling for answers. The storm had tested them, yet adversity often forges the sharpest edges. Hours on the training ground became sacred rituals. Every touch, pass, and movement was dissected and refined until it approached near perfection. Patterns once instinctive were sharpened into deliberate strategies. One would draw defenders like gravity pulling on metal, while the other exploited every gap with surgical precision. Each repetition added layers to a partnership that now bordered on flawless synchronization. They had not only learned to play together, they had learned to elevate one another, turning resilience into artistry, pressure into performance, and fleeting talent into lasting legend. Tactics were no longer merely executed, they were anticipated. Rivals began recognizing the rhythm, detecting the subtle telepathy, but the duo was always one step ahead. Coaches marveled at their growth. Two players capable of reading each other's thoughts, predicting defensive shifts, and responding before opponents even registered the threat. Even the smallest gestures, a glance, a tilt of the head, a shift of weight, spoke volumes, communicating intentions in milliseconds. It was as if the pitch had become a stage for an invisible dialogue, a conversation written in motion, instinct, and split-second decisions. Every pass, every run, every feint carried layers of meaning, a sophistication that only those truly attentive could appreciate. Yet perfection is always a moving target. Every match demanded evolution. Every opponent forced adaptation. Fans cheered, analysts praised, yet only those who observed closely could truly grasp the meticulous, almost obsessive discipline that made this duo unstoppable. Hours spent reviewing footage, analyzing patterns, and rehearsing variations translated into an uncanny ability to predict outcomes before they even emerged. And as they honed their craft to near legendary status, the Premier League braced for the inevitable. An upheaval that would reshape the very fabric of competition and leave no defender, no strategist untested. When the season began, the Premier League felt the tremors of something extraordinary, subtle at first, like a low rumble before a storm. Every match, every stadium, every analyst's commentary hinted at it. This duo wasn't merely participating, they were dictating the game, reshaping its tempo and flow. Opponents planned meticulously, dissected footage, and adjusted defensive lines, yet found themselves consistently outmaneuvered at every turn. One's vision sliced through defenses like a surgeon's scalpel, reading patterns and predicting movements with uncanny precision. The other's timing left markers flat-footed, chasing shadows, forced to react to threats that had already passed them by. The brilliance wasn't merely in the goals or assists, it was in the orchestration, the invisible choreography connecting their every move. Midfielders instinctively released the ball at the perfect moment. Defenders discovered gaps they couldn't cover, even when anticipating every run. Goalkeepers were left guessing, often reacting to threats that seemed to exist only in the duo's minds. Their understanding of space, pace, and positioning evolved into a language of its own, a rhythm that was almost musical in its complexity, impossible for rivals to replicate. Every touch carried intention, every combination revealed layers of preparation and intuition. Fans watched in awe, pundits marveled at the elegance, and rival managers scrambled, desperate for solutions, realizing quickly that brute strength or rigid strategies would never contain such fluid genius. The game was no longer just about competition, it had become a canvas for artistry, painted with precision, vision, and relentless intelligence. Yet domination is never static. Every game brought fresh obstacles, every opponent attempted innovative strategies, and every pressure moment tested the limits of their cohesion. Still, with every challenge, they adapted, evolved, and converted the Premier League into a chessboard where they controlled the critical moves. Their dominance was not arrogance, It was intelligence, a relentless pursuit of spatial and tactical perfection. And even in their supremacy, one lingering question remained. Could any team truly stop this unstoppable synergy, or was the league on the verge of surrender? Numbers rarely tell the full story, yet in this case, they almost cannot be ignored. Goals, assists, key passes, expected goals, they piled up like an avalanche, unstoppable and awe-inspiring. One moment, a through ball dissected the opposition's defense. The next, a perfectly timed run turned a simple counterattack into a historic highlight. Fans replayed clips over and over, not merely to celebrate the finish, but to witness the invisible rhythm between the two, the subtle communication that made it all possible. Every stat, every record shattered became more than evidence of talent. It was a testament to synergy, intuition, and relentless preparation. Analysts tried to quantify it. Distance covered, touches in dangerous zones, pass accuracy under pressure. Yet no chart, no graph, no table could fully capture the essence. The way they read the field as if it were a living, breathing organism, every movement a deliberate thread in an intricate tapestry that no defender could disrupt. The performances weren't isolated feats. They formed a continuous narrative, each match, each highlight reel, layering suspense, leaving fans and pundits asking, is there a ceiling to this brilliance? Could any defense survive the precision, intelligence, and relentless energy of this Manchester City duo? And as the staggering numbers accumulated, one question loomed larger than any statistic. What next level had yet to be unleashed? This duo is more than a pair of exceptional players. They are a blueprint for modern football. Beyond goals and assists, they embody a philosophy, intelligence, anticipation, and relentless connection. Young players study their every movement, aspiring to emulate it. Coaches analyze every nuance, hoping to extract lessons. Rivals brace themselves for the inevitable demonstration of precision and timing. Their influence stretches far beyond Manchester. They have redefined what it means to operate in perfect tandem, showing that individual brilliance is exponentially amplified when paired with understanding, trust, and unspoken communication. The Premier League, historically rich with legendary partnerships, now faces a new benchmark, a standard that will influence how the game is taught, played, and remembered for years to come. They aren't just winning matches, they are shaping a standard, a measure against which all future duos will inevitably be compared. Every precise pass, every perfectly timed run, every subtle glance that orchestrates a counterattack is not merely a play, it's a blueprint for excellence. The football world is taking notes, quietly acknowledging that what these two have built isn't just a fleeting spark of brilliance, but a revolution in how synergy, instinct, and intelligence define the modern game. And yet, the story isn't finished. Every breakthrough, every tactical masterstroke, every moment of seamless coordination is still being written, page by page, match by match. Fans watch with awe. Analysts dissect each movement, critics speculate endlessly, and the suspense thickens with every fixture. This isn't just dominance, it's transformation. And even as their legacy grows, a shadow of uncertainty remains. Who, if anyone, will rise to challenge them? Will someone emerge capable of decoding the invisible rhythm they share, or is the Premier League destined to witness an era dominated by an almost untouchable partnership? The Manchester City duo has already etched their mark into history. From overlooked beginnings to world-class dominance, every step of their journey has been a lesson in resilience, chemistry, and vision. Each setback, each criticism, and each unexpected obstacle became fuel, forging not only skill but character. They have shown the power of partnership, the impact of relentless dedication, and the beauty of football played with intelligence, instinct, and almost uncanny foresight. Yet the story is far from over. The league watches, competitors strategize, and fans hold their breath. Every upcoming match is a potential chapter in this unfolding saga. Will any team rise to dismantle the near impenetrable synergy that has proven itself so formidable? Or will these two continue their relentless march, rewriting records, redefining what it means to dominate the pitch, and leaving every opponent chasing shadows? The suspense hangs heavy in the air, and each game is another test of whether anyone can match their harmony, speed, and understanding. As we reflect on their rise, one truth is undeniable. This is not just a story about two exceptional players. It is a lesson in belief, trust, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. It's a testament to what can be achieved when skill is paired with intuition, discipline, and an unbreakable bond. So, football fans, the question now is yours. Who do you think can challenge this duo? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analysis, exclusive stories, and insights from the very heart of the Premier League. Because the story is far from finished, and the next chapter could be the most thrilling, unpredictable, and unforgettable yet.